All right, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. It's your boy Rome here in Houston. Okay, guys, so we're going to get right to it. First of all, let's get this stuff out of the way. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Ring that bell so that you'll be updated as to any new content that I put out on this channel and possibly some of the other social media networks that I have things that I'm posting on. Okay, so guys, we're going to get right to this. One of the things that I've been thinking about quite a bit over the last couple of days has a lot to do with Amazon. So, as many of you know, I purchased the Intuos small Bluetooth version of the Wacom tablet for retouching. After using it for a couple of days and putting it through its paces, not counting the issues that I was having with it related to the beta software that I'm running on this M1 Mac, I don't blame Wacom for that in any form or fashion. I want to tell you guys, just so you'll know, I've been talking with them a number of times via email and chat, and they have done everything within their power to try and fix this situation, but I don't think it's something that's within their control. I think this is something that is definitely OS related. So, I can't put any blame on Wacom. They did the best they could with what they had to be available. So what I did was, let's just get right to it. Let me jump over to another screen so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. All right, so here I am, and this is the tablet that I purchased. This is the Wacom Intuos Small. So if you guys aren't familiar with it, this is the tablet. It is a Bluetooth version. You have 4 hotkeys, and this is pretty much your working area here. Now this is my previous tablet from years ago, which is a bamboo tablet. Now this tablet is also manufactured by Wacom, but it's one of their older models from like 10, 12 years ago or something like that. So I couldn't even find proper drivers to even get this to work. And I hadn't even noticed this until I looked at it the other day, that it still has, it has the Wacom sticker still on the back of it here. So, for someone who's using a older operating system or an Intel Mac or PC, this could be a good tablet for them. And I'm really thinking about giving this tablet away to someone who might, be able to benefit from it, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But I do have the pen for it. It could use a little cleaning. So if I decide to give this away, I definitely will, clean it up a little bit. But for the most part, this has been, a pretty good tablet. You also have 4 action buttons, preset buttons here, and you have a scrollable wheel. But, like I said, it depends on which operating system you're using, which computer you're using. This may be something that can work for you, maybe not, who knows. But, we'll figure that out as we go. So, everything that comes with this, for the most part, what you get is the tablet, the pen, and the USB cable, the charging cable, or data cable, whichever you want to call it, that comes along with the tablet. So, those are the 3 things that you're going to get for, I believe, I think I spent maybe $89 for this. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but, I think it was about $89. But overall, this is a good starter tablet for someone who is maybe practicing drawing or painting, digital painting or something like that, or even really basic retouching. This could get the job done. I did quite a few things with this, and I was very happy with the outcome of the images that I was able to retouch with it. But like in all things, if you're doing it from a professional perspective, you have to think about the longevity of the device. This is very plasticky, and I know that, with me, going on location, shooting in the studio, going from place to place, places where I'll need a tablet, where I'll be doing some retouching or some things that I can use the tablet for. I don't know if this is going to be a sturdy enough tablet to withstand all of the rigmarole of, what I put it through, on a normal, shoot day. So that's something I had to seriously consider. So what I've decided to do was I went over to Amazon and I took a look at what they had. So this is what you get from Amazon if you buy something, what they call renewed. It doesn't have the traditional box. So like if we look at the box that the original Wacom came in here, you know, it has the graphics on it, you know, it has the version, the software that comes with it, all the other verbiage that's on the back, you know, all the cool things that come with it, right? So, you know, that's what you get. But from the renewed versions, you get basically, you know, this very generic Amazon box, you know, for what it is. So I did peek inside of it, but I have not set this up yet. So I wanted to wait until I was live. So we're going to look at this all together. All right. So just looking at the box here, first thing you see is the tablet. Okay. So let's take the tablet out. Place that here. And you can see already, before I, you know, go any further, that this one is much larger than the small in comparison. So let's look at the two. You can see there's a huge difference in size. And I can feel the weight. This feels more like an iPad versus this feels more, I'm not going to say it feels like a toy because it doesn't feel like a toy, but it feels much more like this older tablet that I have here. So you get the tablet, you get, what I'm really happy about is that this is USB-C. So that means that I can literally plug any USB-C cable into this tablet if I needed to charge it, or if I wanted to work with it, you know, and I, for some reason, didn't have this cable with me, any USB cable would work for the most part. At least that's what I'm assuming. And it comes with your instruction manuals, you know, which we almost never read. Now, one thing that I think is missing, because I don't see it here in the box, is that these come with these little rings that you can use to put on your pen so that you can see the different, you know, it has like different colors or whatever it is. So the base here, it has a couple of little scratches on it. You know, you could see that it's been opened before. But for the most part, I don't see anything wrong with it. And then if I open it up, all of the nibs are here. And none of them look like they've been used. So that's a good sign. It's very clean inside. So put that back together. Push that off to the side. And here's our pen. So if you compare the two pens, you can see them here. You know, the Pro Pen 2, it's a little bit larger, but it's definitely thicker where it matters that, you know, in your hand, when you're using this, you know, to retouch or something like that, it just has a better feel in the hand as far as I'm concerned. I like this kind of plasticky, rubbery feel that it has on it that gives you a little bit more grip, I think, you know, when you're retouching. So I think that's going to work out pretty good for me. So that's pretty much everything that's in the box. I will reach out to them and ask about the rings, because I know those rings come with all of the tablets, but I don't see anything else that's in the box. So we're good to go. So let's get to it. So let's open. So first impressions, looking at the tablet, I don't see any marks, maybe a little dust. I don't see any fingerprints or anything here, no scuffing on the rubber on the back. So it looks pretty good. And as you see here in comparison to my MacBook, it's right about the same size, you know, maybe an inch smaller than the MacBook itself. So that gives me a little bit more room when it comes to editing. Let me move this camera around just a little bit more. So it gives me a little bit more, you know, surface area if I decide to use the entire surface area for editing or retouching or something like that. But one of the other things that I was really excited about was this control ring here, which allows you, you know, especially like you're working in Photoshop or you're working in Final Cut or something like that, you know, which is, you can use it for different features, like for zooming and other things like that. But let's see if this will connect by just turning it on. Because I already have, you know, the driver's already built in, I mean, already on here. Now, I don't know how much battery power this has. So, okay, that's blinking. So let's look at our Bluetooth, see if it sees it. I think it may need to be charged. Yeah, I'm almost sure that's what it needs. So I'm gonna have to plug it in. No problem. Luckily, you know, this is a really long cable. And the plug is on this side. Flip the tablet in whichever direction you want to flip it in, and it should work out just fine for you. But now I need to find power brick. Let's see if it'll power it just from my MacBook. Yep. Okay, so it sees it and it says the battery is very low. And you can see here, let me switch over to my other screen. So you can see here it popped up and showing the battery is only at 1% from what I can see here, right there. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the setup, you know, since we're doing a video, so why not? So obviously I will be using it right-handed, so I'll leave it there, but even though I'm ambidextrous, that's a long story. Press keys, yep. It has gestures, that's another good advantage. And it's talking about the Bluetooth. And I'll register this later. Nobody wants to sit through and watch me do that. And done. And of course, it's going to go over to Wacom's page. Let's see. So it has here where you can redeem the software. You know, it comes with a number of different applications. But these applications, they always say the applications are free, but in actuality, you get about 90 days to use them. So, I mean, that's what you get. So here's some of the other settings. Here's like your orientation, your touch sensitivity, your pen settings, your express keys, your touch ring, and all the different things that you can set up here. So let's look at express keys, because this is what I was having one of the problems with the version of Mac OS that I'm running right now. So let's just see what we can do here. So if I click on let's see, what do we want this to be? Actually, you know what? Let's go down here to the bottom, because the bottom key, I'll probably use that to open an application, and that would be Photoshop. But it looks like this has got the same problem. It's not going to allow me to change these buttons. So let's see if I can add an app to it. Nope. So I don't know. This could be also related to the fact that the battery is so low, because right now it's only at 5%. So I'm assuming or hoping that that's something that will change. So let's look at our touch ring. toggle, and then the different spring settings. So what I'm going to do here, let's see what else we can find. Let's close this and let's go to pin settings. I don't think it's even noticed. It's not even showing the pin. Oh, there it is. Okay. So now it sees the pin. And I can adjust the tip feel. And I'll bring the double click down to 0. So right here, it has it set for, in tilt sensitivity, I'm gonna leave that off for now. But it has right click for the front button and double click for the back button. And I think that's fine for now. I may even make that, undo or something like that. So if I can do a keyboard. So I want this top button here to be, I want the top button to be, this top button here, I want it to be undo. So I'm just going to type in here, Command Z, and that should be my undo. Well, in Photoshop or in most other apps, but I can't add Photoshop here. But before, what I noticed is whenever I opened Photoshop, it just appeared here. So that may be something that's also a glitch related to the software. So let's try opening Photoshop and see. That's weird. Photoshop never takes that long to open. Okay, so now Photoshop is open. And I don't see photo. Well, there we go. Okay, so Photoshop. So I can add Photoshop. That's a win. So other applications I would normally use would be, so it's nothing that's active now. So I'd browse for it. And let's say another application I might, well, I would definitely use would be CaptureOne. So let me find, why am I not seeing CaptureOne? I know it's here because I use it almost every day. There it is, CaptureOne. So there's CaptureOne. So I could go in individually and set up different settings for each one of these, and I will probably do that as a separate video where I'll show you guys exactly how I'm setting up the buttons for each specific application that I'm using. So for now, let's look at our touch. You have gestures. So you have taps, clicks. You have a number of different gestures that you can do here. Most of these I probably wouldn't use other than like rotate and maybe zoom or something like that I would use in Photoshop. But I'll have to go over these because all of these are very new to me. So I'll have to go over these and see exactly which of these would be more beneficial to me. And then you can also go in here and create your own different gestures. So you could do something with 4 fingers, 5 fingers, or 5 fingers and another thumb. Whatever works for you. Okay. So pointer speed, now that's something I'm not familiar with, but I think that's related to touch. So let's go back over to pen. And what do we have here under customize? Okay. So you can go in here and you can adjust your pen sensitivity here. You can adjust this like you're just adjusting a curve in Photoshop or something like that. You can see, if you get a light touch or a more heavy touch or something like that for sensitivity. So that's good. I'll play with that a little bit more later. So once this thing is charged, I think it'll give me a better reading as to what all is going on here. But let's see, what else can I add in here that I use almost every day? yeah, almost every day I use Final Cut or something. I use Lightroom on occasion, but usually, you know, I'm going to use CaptureOne. I use Photoshop. I'll use CaptureOne, Photoshop, Final Cut, Adobe Audition. I use it, you know, for some audio stuff if I'm working on something that, you know, that requires audio editing. But that's not something that I use on a daily basis. Other applications that I would normally use, I do use Satellite when I'm doing, you know, demo videos and stuff like that. Motion, I don't use that often, but, you know, it's here. And that's probably about it, you know, because everything else, like in Luminar and things like that, I can open those through Photoshop, so I don't really need those to be in here. And okay, so we'll just cancel that, close this, and we know the battery is still charging. You can see here that the battery is at 9%, so that's going to take a while. It takes usually a couple hours for this to charge up, so we'll just let that do its thing. But what we'll do is hop over to Amazon. And like I said, you know, they have their renewed site, but I guess you could search for just the renewed site itself. So there's a renewed store, so that's what we're looking for. Go ahead, go. So I haven't spent a lot of time on this site, but yet and still it might be something you guys want to take a look at. You know, so you do have cameras on here. You got smartwatches, games, tablets, you know, Apple products. Looks like a little bit of everything. So let's see if they have a search that is specific to just this page, which it doesn't look like it. So you'd probably have to go in here via whatever category it is that you're looking for something. Like a friend of mine, I know he was looking for a GoPro. So let's see what they have here under cameras. So you got all different kind of mixture of cameras, you know, from the DJI Osmo to, you know, home security cameras to, you know, drones. I don't see, but I don't, well, let's just try a search here. So let's try Wacom. Because I see here, it says renewed up here. So I'm assuming that everything that we search for here is going to be under renewed, which is possible. So here's the Wacom Cintiq 16, which is $649. And I know that's significantly more than that. Here's the Cintiq Pro 24, which is $2,352. I don't know if these are renewed or new because it doesn't say. But here under category, it says, well, I'm under cameras, of course. So let's just look for GoPro, you know, just to see. Okay, so here's some GoPros. And yeah, this one is renewed, which is the GoPro Hero 8, which I use. And this one is $284. I don't remember what I paid for it new. And there's a GoPro 7, $222. GoPro Hero 8, here's another one for $274. So, and I guess it just also depends on who is selling it as to what kind of deal you would get. But whether you're looking for, you know, a MacBook or an iPad or, you know, or whatever it is that you're looking for, you know, this is, you know, another area inside of Amazon that you guys may not have been aware of that you may want to take a look at. Like I said, I'm for the most part, from what I'm seeing, I'm relatively happy with this tablet. I haven't gone in and done, extensive work with it. This is more of a first look and, a discussion kind of on this program, this site here on Amazon. So in the upcoming videos, I will do a full video showing how I use this software for Final Cut, for Photoshop, for DaVinci Resolve, maybe obviously CaptureOne, and a few other applications that I use that I'll set up separate types of button controls and things like that. Especially like with the precision control, which allows you to have a little bit better control over the pen if you're using it more like a mouse or something like that. So we can hop in Photoshop here real quick. Let me see what my brush settings are at now. Let me go and choose regular brush. So I should be using a soft round brush right now, but let's just make sure. One of my legacy brushes, default, soft round. See, where's my pressure brush? So here's the hard round, and here's the hard round pressure brush. So let's try that one. And so let's go over here to our brush settings. Under shape dynamics, we have pen pressure on, transfer, pen pressure's on, and then smoothing, pen pressure's on. So let's see if we can do light. Yeah, I don't like that pen. Let's pick a different pen. As you know, I haven't set any of the buttons up yet, so that's something I'll do next. Well, let's just do the regular soft round brush. And let's make it a little bit smaller. I'm not seeing a lot of pressure control yet. Let me look at shape dynamics. Oh, I have it set to 30 because that's what I usually use when I'm airbrushing. So that's about right. So if I increase the size of the brush, I have it set where it kind of builds up. Because right now I have the flow at 11%, but if we bring the flow all the way up to, let's say 100, as you see, the harder I press, or the lighter I press. Yeah. And then you see the building effect over time. So that works. All right. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to let this tablet charge, and then I will do a video maybe tomorrow showing how I would set this up completely, fully for Photoshop, meaning with all of the pen controls, what I've set up for the buttons themselves, each and every one of the buttons, and it's also the ring. And there's our controls. And then we'll go through all of these different settings, for everything that I've used. Remember, this is not a new tablet from Wacom. I mean, when I say new, I mean this tablet has been on the market for quite some time. So you have a small, you have a medium, and you have a large, which is probably larger than the tablet that I'm working with. So, I mean, it is what it is. So let's go back here to our full screen. So as you can see here, I mean, it gives me a lot of room, and I can move from, And what it's doing now is, because I have two screens set up, it's going between the two screens. But if I set this up to only, for instance, only, what is that under? Can't remember what that's under, but let's just open. So you see here, it's showing both screens, right? So I don't want that. I don't want it on both screens. I only want it on one. So put it back to just the main screen. So now it's just on controlling, the one screen, but it's on the wrong screen. So I want that on screen 2, which is the smaller screen, which is the screen here for this MacBook. Oh, there we go. And then, like I said, you can also go in here and you can set up a portion, where if you wanted to have just a portion of the tablet. That doesn't seem to be working. But like I said, some of these things may not be working because of the fact that I'm, running a different operating system that it's not fully compatible with. But for the most part, it seems to be doing what I expect it to do. So let's go over to our pen. So here's in Photoshop. I don't want it to be full. I want it to be on screen 2. And then if I go back to all applications, I can put that back on full. Then it's between the two screens. And the same would be for CaptureOne. I'd want that to be on the main screen. I don't know why it's showing it as screen 2, but it is what it is. And the same as with Photoshop. Final Cut, I usually use both screens, but for now we're just going to put it on screen 1 or 2 as it sees it here. And we'll just leave it at that for now. But for now, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and let this thing charge up and get everything completely set up. So I will be back on, my normal schedule time would be Monday, but I'm probably going to do something maybe tomorrow, even if it's only a short video, showing you guys how I've set it up completely for Photoshop, and then maybe even do a little bit of retouching in the process, just so you can see exactly what I'm doing with it, when it comes to editing, photo, maybe some, frequency separation or airbrushing. I don't know why I keep. But all right, guys, I will catch you guys in the next video. Until then, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones. Excuse me. And get out there and create something amazing. Peace. I'm out.